In this video, I'm going to share my secret that took me from $0 a month to $7,000 to $8,000 a month, all starting from nothing with no experience whatsoever. And I credit this single strategy to actually being the reason for my success. So you're probably wondering, what is the strategy? The strategy is to write down every single thing that you do throughout the day. So I write down the time that I got up in the morning, the time that I start working. I write down exactly what I did all throughout the day, every single task, and how long it took me, and I write down notes about the task. Now you're probably thinking that's a little crazy, I don't know why you do that, but I'm about to share my actual process and template for doing this, and I'm also going to be sharing the 4 reasons I think that this is going to absolutely change the trajectory of your business. So let's get into it. Okay, reason number 1 is you need to hold yourself accountable. So when you have a job, you have a boss to keep you accountable, and they're telling you what time to be in the morning, how much work you need to get done, and they know exactly what you're responsible for. But as a freelancer, you are the boss of your own schedule, and so you need to make sure that you're holding yourself accountable and you're being responsible to finish everything that you need to get done in a day. After I started using this strategy, I quickly realized that I was not getting done as much work as I'm supposed to. I'm only truly working like 4 hours a day when I first started, and I realized that I wasn't getting much done during those 4 hours. You might think you're putting in the work, but what proof do you really have? So the second reason you need to use this strategy is because you need to plan. So proper planning prevents poor performance. That's a saying that's absolutely true, because if you don't have any idea what you're going to be doing throughout the day, you're basically going to get nothing done. And so it's a terrible habit to wake up at 9 a.m., have a coffee, breakfast, get to work by 10, and then realize that you basically don't know what you're going to be doing throughout the day. And then you get to the end of the day and you're like, what did I just do? I didn't get anything done. And instead, what you should do is hold yourself to a specific time to get started to work, and then spend the first 30 minutes planning exactly what you're going to do. So just plan out, I'm going to spend the first 2 hours doing X, and I'm going to spend the second 2 hours doing Y. Try to plan in 7 to 8 hours of real work, and then you're going to know at the end of the day that you got done the most important things and you didn't just slack off. Okay, now before I move on to number 3, go ahead and leave me a thumbs up if you're finding this video helpful. And by the way, I'm going to be doing an around the country road trip with my brother this summer, so if you're interested in following any of that, also consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks. The third reason this strategy is so important is for reflection. So what I mean by reflection is, what I can do after doing this is I could look back at the past week or month or even years worth of work, and I can decide, okay, I think that this is a big waste of time, spending all this time doing specific things, and you're able to kind of look at the things that you were getting done and then correlate them with your results. So by keeping track of everything you do, you're able to reflect on what you've done and make sure that you're doing the right things every day. Freelancers tend to waste a lot of time doing different things because they don't have somebody telling them what to do, so they just slack off a little bit. I was certainly guilty of it. I'm not saying you are, but it's definitely a possibility. So keep tracking everything that you do, and then you can reflect on all the work that you've done. So one example of this is the 80-20 principle. So the 80-20 principle says that 20% of the things that you do are providing 80% of the results, which means that a small fraction of the things that you're actually doing are important, and then most of what you're doing is not important whatsoever. So you need to figure out what those 20% of important tasks are, and then you need to make those the majority of your time. So one great example of this could be, you spend all of your time learning Webflow or learning how to use a specific platform, yet what you really need to be doing is figuring out how to find clients, because you could be the greatest web designer in the world, but if you don't know how to market yourself, then nobody's going to be able to find you. Okay, the fourth reason is measurement. So measurement is really important as a freelancer because you need to know exactly how long things take you. If you're charging per project, then you want to know exactly how many hours it's going to take you to finish a certain project. And if you have tracked everything about the project, then you know how long the wireframe takes you, you know how long the development takes you, and you know how long the launch takes you as well. So by having all of this data, you can better not just know what's going on in your business, but you can optimize it as well. Okay, now I'm going to actually show you my process and template for doing this. So as you could see here, I just have a document called week template where I have every day of the week with tables and boxes, and I write down kind of the time I got in, and then that's when I start tracking. I use Google Chrome and set this to the current page each week so that on default when I open up Google Chrome, this is the first thing that I open up and see, and that way I know exactly what I'm gonna do, because I don't have to open this individually every time. It just saves me a lot of effort. Now what I do with this document is each week I just click file and then I make a copy and I name it the start of the week, which I'll show you in this next example here. Okay, let me show you an actual example of me doing this. This was May 1st, so just a couple weeks ago. I was in at 8 on Monday, and then I tracked every single thing I did throughout the day. Finished the day out at 8.5 hours, and then I continue to do it throughout the week. And then I usually add up a total at the end of the week. And yeah, as you could see here. So yeah, nothing too crazy. This is obviously a really helpful thing to do, and I hope that this template is a good example of what it looks like. Alright, so that about wraps up the video. If you found it useful, then definitely leave me a thumbs up and subscribe for a lot more videos like this and just videos about how to find clients and grow your web design business. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.